So, can you talk a little bit about what you're seeing right now in the family office landscape, just in general?
Yeah, I mean, I would say I think you're seeing the rise of the concept and the category more surfacing in the public kind of domain and discourse, right? And financial services, right? So family offices that have been around for centuries, right? You could go back to the Medici. One can make the claim the Medici's were a family office, right? Who were impacting culture and um, in a tremendous way. But and then you've got the kind of well-known ones, the J.P. Morgan or the Rothschilds or the Rockefellers, et cetera, that were at least in the U.S. history. So they've been around for a very long time, but recently, I think over the last kind of 5 years or so, we've seen the phrase crop up more at a retail level. And if when I speak at luxury real estate conferences, I often say, kind of, raise your hand if you dealt with a family office. Probably 3, 4, probably 5 years ago, maybe a couple people in the room. But, more recently over the last year, for example, if I asked that question, I'd say probably 60 or 70% of the people in that room are dealing with a family. And they're not dealing with the principal, they're dealing with kind of an advisor or someone who's a gatekeeper, but they know what the concept is. And so that concept, and most of them though are probably not dealing with super institutionalized ones. They're probably dealing with
Mhm.
someone that's a centie millionaire, like 100 million or 200 million. But they've gotten that kind of wealth, and now they've got some kind of infrastructure, right? So, I mean, I was on a call a couple recently with a good friend of mine. He's a tech kind of entrepreneur who's had multiple liquidity events, and he asked me the question. He said, "Listen, I have a controller and a portfolio. Is that a family office, right?" Right. So he's like, "I just never called it a family
It
office,
could
but
be.
for all practical purposes, yeah, it's a family. He's got a dedicated person and a portfolio of private investments. So, but I would say probably one of the biggest trends that has kind of enveloped, the family offices have always been direct, but that's really, if you think, I'm going to make a hyper generalization that's not true for everybody, but in general, I would say most family offices are deployed across direct investments, commercial real estate, and if they have money in liquid, it's in cash because it's dry powder. The liquid portfolio side of what they're doing is completely, it's the liquid portfolio construction from an advisor perspective, at least, is a very commoditized business. We all know the fees are getting compressed. So family offices, and typically, I think the biggest trend is that you see family offices. It starts with family offices, and then the trends trickle down into the retail market, right? So,
Mhm.
and so we'll see, families. We'll see family offices with their direct investments and alternative assets, and that kind of drive, and will in portfolio construction will start to drive down more into the retail level. It already is, right?
Mhm.
So I think that's a big trend. Direct. Managing the balance sheet and being able to manage risk across the balance sheet is going to be, even at a family office level today, if you think about all the different performance reporting and data aggregation platforms, the families still have a very hard time in getting a holistic view of the balance sheet. And people say they have it and they say they have all the data, but there's no silver bullet. There's always gaps.